Welcome to Silverstone and the Ferrari Challenge. Here we are then, Silverstone in Northamptonshire. Good afternoon, welcome to Ferrari Challenge. And Ferrari Challenge in the UK, it's our fifth round of our 2022 season. Having been to Portimao and Paul Ricard and Budapest and Hockenheim, here we find ourselves in the UK. And you can see Luca Nurmi relaxing against his car there, this wonderful wing complex here at Silverstone, where the weather is being very kind to us, and especially kind to Marietta Evans, who's on the grid. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the grid. Don't be fooled by the blue skies because the conditions and track temperature are quite cold. But we know that if there is somebody who can adapt to any conditions, that is our teenage superstar, Doriane. Doriane, how tricky will it be to turn this pole into a victory in those challenging cold conditions today?
Well, I mean, we did a good job in quali this morning, and for sure we will need to be consistent and smart with the management of the tires, because it's a fast track with long corners, especially right long corners. So we need to take care of the tires at the beginning and be consistent with the lap time and everything. So yeah, and take a good start for sure.
Thanks. Good luck, Doriane.
Thank you.
Doriane Penn, who has been supremely dominant in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli this year. 7 wins it is. And Luca Nurmi there. Luca Nurmi going from P2 on the grid. John Vortique is going from P3. They are our Trofeo Pirelli drivers. We're looking at the car of Ange Bardet, who is fantastic in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM and leads the Drivers' Championship. And Marietta Evans, hard-working as ever. Back to you on the grid.
Now, Jack Brown was second in the standings of Trofeo Pirelli AM the last time he was racing in Ferrari Challenge. And this weekend that he's back, he seems to be picking up where he left. Jack, were you expecting to be pole on the class on your return?
Not necessarily, no. But yeah, this morning all went well and we managed to get a pole. So.
And what are you expecting for the race? How are you feeling on this racetrack?
Sorry, one more time.
How are you feeling for the race? How do you feel with your pace at this racetrack?
Yeah, good. I think I'm going to improve in the race as well. So.
Thank you very much.
No
Good
worries,
luck.
guys. Cheers.
Good to see Jack Brown back on the grid again. Welcome back, Jack. Poet and don't know it. Welcome back, Jack. Now, there is the car of Stefano Guy. Of course, we celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Ferrari Challenge, and what we've done at every particular round that we've been at, we have taken one of the fantastic cars from the history and the heritage of the Ferrari Challenge, and one of those cars driven by this man, Stefano Guy, for Rosso Corsa. And a big thumbs up from Stefano as well, as he's going to be in the car, Nico, and that car is going to go ahead of the safety car, and we're actually going to see that 458 out there on the track. And I mean, it's especially poignant for me, if I may say, because I joined the Ferrari Challenge just at the end of the F430 era, just as we were introducing that very car into the Ferrari Challenge. We have had such wonderful cars on the grid in the Ferrari Challenge, each and every one of them bringing their own special mark to this wonderful one-make series. And to see that car again with one of the huge protagonists, Stefano Guy, around Silverstone is going to send goosebumps down my arms.
Yeah, definitely. And Stefano Guy is here as a driver coach generally, but
yes,
he will go back in time with his own car, and that's really, really something. As you said, 30 years of Ferrari Challenge, we've seen so many great races, and Stefano Guy is certainly one of the main protagonists
yes,
of that era, definitely.
Luca Nurmi, one of the younger drivers in the Ferrari Challenge, and actually taking a race win on his debut in the Ferrari Challenge, and he has he's put the car right alongside Doriane Penn. He goes from P2 on the grid, and I just have a feeling, Nico, as we look at where we are and ask you to follow us on @Ferrari Races, I just have a feeling Jack Brown could be something of a dark horse in this race. His track knowledge of Silverstone is exemplary. Really seen in qualifying how quick he can be. Let's just keep an eye on that in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli AM. Jack has already put the car pole position within class, but I do think he could trouble the result overall. Just an opinion. There we take a walk through the grid of these wonderful cars. You can see John Vortique to the right-hand side of your picture in the number 26 car, and the number 90 car is that car of Jack Brown on the left-hand side before we reach the very front of the grid. And there you can see to the left-hand side two of the wonderful management team of Corsa Clienti. It's Andrea Miladicic to the left-hand side and Marco Gaspara, who is talking to Stefano Guy in that car, and he's going to drive it away, and it is going to be absolutely fantastic to see that Rosso Corsa 458 back on the Silverstone circuit. And let's relive those heady days. Those pictures needed no narration from me, Nico, because just seeing some of those names of some of those cars and some of the names that played out in this wonderful car across many, many seasons of the Ferrari Challenge, it was just great to see it again. People like Björn Grossman, Eric Prinot, it's just Sam Smith, so many big names who raced in the 458 era of the Ferrari Challenge, if you like, and Stefano Guy then, who's going to lead. Stefano was never going to do it gently, was he, Nico?
No, and that's not a car that he wants to drive gently, and that needs to be driven gently. He'll take care of it, though, I'm sure.
Yeah, he will. So Stefano Guy then, a multi-champion, of course, a great GT driver who has long been involved in the Ferrari Challenge, and now, as Nico quite rightly says, adopts something of a driver coach role, doesn't he, in terms of looking after other drivers and passing on his immense racing knowledge to the talents that are making their way in this wonderful sport of motor racing, and none better in motor racing than this wonderful one-make series that is the Ferrari Challenge. Spot on in terms of timing, as the safety car will leave the grid any moment now. As Stefano Guy then continues his lap in this Rosso Corsa 458, then his very car from the era of the Ferrari Challenge, where Stefano enjoyed so much success and has gone on to have a glittering motor racing career. And he's one of life's really nice guys. Not only does he offer his fantastic driver coaching services, but he also offers some broadcast talent as well, as we often find him on the air offering Italian color commentary, if you will, to my colleague Alberto Borghini, when he is able to bring his immense racing knowledge and actually pass that on to our viewers as well, which is wonderful. He's just a great character, always happy to speak to you, always takes time for his many racing fans as well, and I just know how under the crash helmet there'll be a beaming smile from ear to ear on the face of Stefano Guy then, as he rounds this Silverstone circuit in yet another car that has been part of this rich heritage of 30 years of the Ferrari Challenge. Brings it into the pit lane, and Stefano Guy back out on track again. That's never going to be a bad thing. Oh, there's a bus just outside the TV compound I could see there. And Stefano Guy rounds the car and brings it back into the pit lane, which will release the effectively release the safety car and put our Trofeo Pirelli cars into their formation lap for the 30-minute race to come. Mix of Trofeo Pirelli drivers and Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. The Pirelli drivers have got a red strip across the top of the windscreen. The AM drivers have got a white strip across the top of the windscreen. That's the view we have from the back of the safety car, as we are just awaiting the cars to be released on their formation lap. I just wonder if we might have a slight delay here, and the reason unknown, but you can see some engineers still on the track. There's certainly engineers working on the John Boutique car, Nico, and so whether that is the reason that we have a delay to the start of this race. So spectators looking on, and there we can see. I mean, to be fair, John Boutique is not the only car with doors open. As we look at the grid from our drone camera, then the bridge newly installed, as you can see, betwixt the wing complex and the new hotel that's being built here at Silverstone. So we're 1 minute away from the formation lap starting. So whatever small delay we've had is coming to a rapid conclusion. And the race is going to be rapid as well, of that, make no doubt. It's Doriane Penn and Luca Nurmi on the front row of the grid, ahead of John Boutique, and then the best of the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers is Jack Brown, ahead of Ange Bardi and Marco Pulcini, Nicola Rossi, Lucky Kira, who is a UK-based racer and races in the Ferrari Challenge UK. And in fairness, Lucky's going to have a busy time of it, because he's racing from P5 in Trofeo Pirelli AM for Europe. Literally, the moment this race is finished, he'll be jumping into the car for the UK race, where he is leading the Trofeo Pirelli Championship, Nico.
Yeah, I mean, that is some double duty, and if he makes it onto the podium, that means he's almost jumping from the podium down into his driver's seat, almost, hopefully not literally, but figuratively, because he'll only have like 10 minutes between the two races or the podium and the race start. So he's going to be busy, but here is our grid for you.
Doriane Penn then going from pole position for Scuderia Nicky Iron Links with the Formula Racing driver Luca Nurmi. He's alongside. That is row one complete. John Boutique for FML D2P is the Trofeo Pirelli driver going from P3. Jack Brown is P4, but it is pole positioning class. Ange Bardi and Marco Pulcini. Very unusual to see Ange Bardi not pole positioning class. He's going from P5. Marco Pulcini alongside going from P6. Then we find Nicola Rossi and the very man that we were talking about just a couple of moments ago, Lucky Kira, going from P8. That is the fourth row of the grid. To the fifth row, where we find Andrew Gilbert and Omar Jackson, two British drivers competing in the European series of the Ferrari Challenge, and they're on the fifth row. It's P9 and P10. Alessandro Cozzi and Arno Dahlmeier then, P11 and P12 for Formula Racing, and Scuderia Nicky Iron Links. They are the sixth row of the grid, with Angelo Fontana making his debut in the Ferrari Challenge this weekend, going from P13 for Rosso Corsa. The very team that put that 458 on the track for Stefano Guy to take around the Silverstone circuit this afternoon. So the cars are on their formation lap, and lots of tension always in the garages at this start of the race. And you know that when the formation lap gets underway, that You know, that is the time when the butterflies, if you will, go in the stomach. Everyone looking forward to it. And, of course, none more so than the drivers, who must be feeling tense and nervous. And there you can see conversations going on the team radios to their drivers at all times. Of course, we're on board with Omar Jackson, the Trofeo Pirelli AM driver here at Silverstone. And you can see the screen that Omar has there. That's because of the bulkhead in the 488 Challenge Evo means that they can't have an internal rearview mirror, so everything is projected onto a screen, which actually, the drivers tell me, they have even better visibility. It's part of the integral safety that is built into these 488 Challenge Evo cars for our drivers to go racing. Each and every one of the driver is an enthusiast when it comes to the 488 Challenge Evo. It has been and is a fantastic racing car, and the drivers love it. Spectators are here as well to enjoy the race action from Ferrari Challenge, but as you would expect, always busy on their phones. Such is the youth of today. So safety car then from Richard Mille is leading the cars away, and we are now finding ourselves down the back straight then here at Silverstone, and the cars grid up side by side. It's always a rolling start in the Ferrari Challenge. Safety car will peel off into the pit lane. Of course, peeling off into the pit lane here at Silverstone means that you lose the final turns of a Vale and then the sort of double apex club turn as well, because you shortcut the lap by going into the pit lane. That's precisely what the safety car will do and precisely what the cars will not do. And there you can see, just on cue, safety car peels off into the pit lane at a great rate of knots, it has to be said. And Luca Nurmi and John Vortig having something of a battle there, but they're somewhat misplaced because Luca Nurmi needs to be alongside Doriane Penn. As I said, keep your eyes on the all-yellow car going from P3 on the grid, or P4 on the grid. That's Jack Brown. Stand by, we're about to go racing. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli. Watch the lights, everyone. So the lights extinguish. A very good start from John Vortig. Brilliant start from John Vortig. He's going to try and get to the inside of Doriane Penn. Going into turn number one, he certainly got away from Luca Nurmi and relegated Luca Nurmi down to P3. Doriane Penn leading, and John Vortig on the inside of Doriane Penn now. So John Vortig, desperate to keep his hand in this championship chase for Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli, right alongside Doriane Penn. John Vortig has done plenty of racing here at Silverstone. He knows the circuit pretty well. And Luca Nurmi trying to come back at John Vortig now. Ange Bardi already is way up the road in Trofeo Pirelli AM. And there you can see the brake discs really light up for the first time of asking as real pressure is applied to the braking pedal. And Doriane Penn, for the first time, looks like she's breaking away just a little bit from John Vortig. But Ange Bardi, Nico, is up to P4 in the race overall. A blistering start from Ange Bardi, who got by Jack Brown. And Jack doing exactly the diametric opposite to what I expected him to do right at the start of the race.
Yeah, definitely. Ange had the better start, and therefore he has taken the lead in the class. Omar Jackson with a not so great start, dropped down to the end of the order. Maybe there was some contact or something that unsettled him, but he has dropped all the way down into P13. But as you say, Doriane Penn already stretching her legs.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Doriane Penn does once she gets her nose in front, and she just focuses on nailing every apex and trying to build as much or as many centimeters initially of tarmac between herself and her pursuer, which on this occasion is John Vortig. Then it's Luca Nurmi. Now, Jack Brown is beginning to come back at Ange Bardi now in the fight for P1 in Trofeo Pirelli AM, which is the fight for P4 and 5 in the race overall. John Vortig, under braking, gets a little bit closer to Doriane Penn, but you can't help but feel that now Doriane has seen off the early few corners threat from John Vortig. She's in her comfort zone. She puts the first lap in the book, and she is away with a gap of 1.1 seconds already over John Vortig, and you can see that on screen now, courtesy of Richard Mille, our timing partner in the Ferrari Challenge. So it's Penn from Vortig and Nurmi, then it's Barda and Jack Brown and Marco Pulcini. They are the top three in Trofeo Pirelli AM. So it's as it was really for Doriane Penn, isn't it? She just as I say, she concentrates on absolutely everything. We've got a couple of cars coming into the pit lane. I can see from a vantage point of our studio, they are Arno Dahlmeier and Andrew Gilbert. And here we can see the start once again. And John Mortique was really on it here, Nico, as we look at it in replay. Ange Bardi immediately putting himself in front of Jack Brown. That's where Ange got that overtake done in Trofeo Pirelli Am. And here you can see John Mortique was really brave here. I mean, to be fair, there was good room left by Doriane Penn and John Mortique. They're both hugely, hugely talented racing drivers, no question about that, but they're respectful as well. And you could just see at the back of the picture Andrew Gilbert, I certainly saw, and probably Arno Dahlmeier as well. Perhaps a little coming together between those two. We've seen them come into the pit lane. Whether they'll be able to get back out on track again remains to be seen. So Doriane Penn extends her lead by another couple of tenths. It's up to 1.381 ahead of John Mortique and Luca Nurmi. Then it's Ange Bardi and Jack Brown and Marco Pulcini. That's the way it looks, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there was potentially it coming together. Andrew Gilbert is back out of the pit lane. Arno Dahlmeier is still in the pits, but Doriane Penn, I mean, putting in purple sector after purple sector, and I'm sure at the end of this lap she will have stretched her lap to 2.5 seconds minimum. She's just so quick in that car. But John Mortique, he had a really good start at the beginning, has fallen off a little bit, and it's now up to Luca Nurmi to try and get back on John Mortique to get into P2. Ange Bardi, he's also stretching his legs. Jack Brown P2, Marco Pulcini P3. Right now, not a lot of very close battles, but we're only 4.5 minutes into the race.
You are absolutely right. I'm pleased to tell you that Andrew Gilbert is on his way out of the pit lane. However, I don't think the same fate is befalling Arno Dahlmeier at the moment. Be interesting to learn what they are doing down there in the pit lane as we watch Nicolo Rossi now in this battle for P3 in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Am, because Marco Pulcini is third at the moment, but Nicolo Rossi is really beginning to push Marco Pulcini here. Doriane Penn, 2.4 seconds to the good over John Mortique and then Luca Nurmi. Ange Bardi and Jack Brown then, they are P1 and P2. The gap between Ange Bardi and Jack Brown is about a second and a bit, so Ange Bardi is feeling quite comfortable. He's raced here at Silverstone previously, of course, and there you can see the visible gap between those two, and they've broken away a little bit from this P3 fight between Marco Pulcini and Nicolo Rossi. So where are we? First 5 minutes have gone in this race, and where have 5 minutes gone? Because by Jiminy, that was quick. So Doriane Penn then, as I've said previously, just goes about her business, and John Mortique seeing off any challenge from Luca Nurmi for the moment. Ange Bardi, though, is getting a little bit closer to Luca Nurmi now. Doesn't make any difference within class, of course not. But what it does do, it just means that Ange Bardi is getting further and further away from Jack Brown as well. So through this complex of turns then, and Luca Nurmi then, the car that is currently running P3, Luca Nurmi driving for the Formula Racing team, as we complete another lap with 23 3/4 minutes of the race remaining. It's Doriane Penn from John Mortique and Luca Nurmi ahead of the Trofeo Pirelli Am drivers. The top three in those, Ange Bardi, Jack Brown and Marco Pulcini.
And good news for Arno Dahlmeier, he has come out of the pit, so he is back in this race. Obviously, he's got a lot of time and space, so not going to be a good position for the rest of the race, but he is back out there, and not a good position for the rest of the race for Luca Nurmi, for this driver, because he's already been given his final warning for track limits at turn 18. And with 23 minutes and potentially another lap to go, that is a perilous position for him.
It is perilous, and so early on in the race, Nico.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he must have basically run afoul with the
very nearly every lap, I would have thought.
Absolutely, yes. So he has to really rein it in through that last section of the in the last sector.
Just see Matteo Cressoni then, one of the driver coaches, on in picture a few moments ago. There is Luca Nurmi, the very man that Nico was talking about, having exceeded the track limits at turn 18 so many times. He's had his final warning. And once you've had your final warning, The next time, if you run outside and exceed the track limits, you pick up a penalty. Luca Nurmi, you don't want to be doing that, friend. So, Doriane Penn now 3.256 seconds to the good over John Wartique, and then Luca Nurmi. Then we can see Ange Bard, who I have to say, Nico, has really gapped Jack Brown now. In fact, all the cars are spaced out pretty comfortably across the top 3 places in both of the classes, both Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am. So I remind you, the Trofeo Pirelli cars have red strips across the top of the windscreen, and the Trofeo Pirelli Am cars have white strips across the top of the windscreen. Penn from Wartique, from Nurmi, then it's Barda and Brown and Pulcini. Here's Marietta Evans.
I'm with Kessel team manager Anouk Abadi. Anouk, we saw your driver Andrew Gilbert as well as Arno Dahlmeier coming back to the pit. Do you know what happened? Could you tell us a bit of information?
Actually, right now we're still investigating about what happened. Apparently, the two of us both had the contact, but we don't know more exactly who is responsible of it. So we are waiting actually to get the image to know more, because right now we don't know.
Your team managed to work very fast to get him back on track as quick as possible.
Yeah, it's true that the team is working very well, and I mean, they are used to do on some professional championships, so they are very experienced, so they know how to do it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
So Andrew Gilbert back out on track then, courtesy of the hard work of the Kessel Racing team. And, well, of course, he's much further down the order than he would like to be, and Arno Dahlmeier back out on track as well. But they are running P9 and P10 within class. But, of course, Nico, it's valuable points, irrespective, isn't it? And the team will always try and get the cars back out again. And if it's brought about by damage between, you know, a contact between the two drivers, you know, we often see rolls and rolls of gaffer tape being used, don't we, to shore up panels that have been damaged through contact and get those cars and drivers back out again and back out into the race. Because if nothing else, Nico, even if they're not even going to bank points, what they're able to do is generate data that is able to be sent back to the teams, and the teams can look at that data and analyze that and use it in preparation for the next race, which of course is tomorrow.
Indeed, especially when it's the Saturday race and you still have got a Sunday to do, then that is very valuable. But as you said, there are still points for Andrew Gilbert and Arno Dahlmeier available in this race, and they obviously want to race. They're racers. They don't want to be in the pit lane while the others are racing. So that's another factor as well.
So Doriane Penn, I kind of don't want to say this, Nico, but, you know, she's very nearly 5 seconds up the road already with only a third of the race done. Therefore, one predicts that by halfway stage in the race, she can pull into a lay-by, make a cheese and pickle sandwich, and still be ahead of the P2 driver, John Wartique. I am being perhaps a little flippant, but, you know, she is. Once she gets her nose in front, Nico, and I interviewed her on Friday, and I mean, she's just such a cool cousin. She's a really likable driver as well, and likable character. She's blisteringly quick, Nico. And I credit also to the Iron Lynx team, who engineer a fantastic car, which seemingly is very robust, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. Save for the one puncture where she may have run over some parts which were on the track. It's basically a perfect record for this season, and she's really dominating. John Wartique is holding off Luca Nurmi for P2 and P3. Ange Bard has quite a dominant gap over Jack Brown. So right now the podium positions are seem kind of settled, but we've seen it time and time again in the Ferrari Challenge. That can change.
Fat lady's not singing yet, is she?
No, by no means.
And there's Doriane Penn getting past the what is now effectively backmarking and lapped car of Andrew Gilbert, who of course has returned out on track following the alleged coming together with Arno Dahlmeier. So then we can see the Jack Brown car and Nicola Rossi and Marco Pulcini. Now, what of Lucky Kira, our British driver that is racing not only in the European Series but in the British Series as well. The UK Series, he's running in P5, Nico. So Lucky Kira then running in a very creditable P5 as he chooses to compete in both series. Nicola Rossi is now getting closer to Marco Pulcini, So Marco Pulcini is all of a sudden going to have to really think about defending his position here, and it is for the final podium place in terms of Trofeo Pirelli Am. Were I to suggest such a thing, I think, Nico, with Nicola Rossi having taken a win this year and another podium as well, he really rather likes the taste of success and therefore would love to be on the podium here at Silverstone, such a heritage track.
Yeah, no question about it. Whatever track, he would like to be as high up as he possibly can. But he has really closed down that gap, and that indeed means that Marco Pulcini has to think about defending and checking his mirrors more often. And that's where the confidence that Nicola Rossi has built over the last few events may really bring him an extra advantage, knowing that he's done it before and done it very recently.
Just seeing that on my timing screen, Nico, that the incident involving cars number 44 and number 7 in turn 4 is under investigation. Now that would suggest that it was Omar Jackson as well as Andrew Gilbert and Arno Dalmay, potentially. So we let the race control figure that one out. Thankfully, they have not only access to all our television pictures, but have lots and lots of other cameras all the way around the circuit as well. And they were able to take a look at absolutely everything. They have not only data available to them, but images as well, as Nicola Rossi continues to chase Marco Pulcini. So Doriane Penn, John Mortigue, Luca Nurmi, the top 3. Trofeo Pirelli Am is Ange Bard, Jack Brown and Marco Pulcini. And Marco Pulcini being chased down by Nicola Rossi. So Nicola Rossi, I was saying, has had the taste of success this year, and if I can give you some facts surrounding that, Nicola Rossi has taken P1 in the second race at Hungary in Budapest, and then followed that up with 2 podiums, actually. I do you a disservice, Nicola. It's a P2 and a P3, of course, in Hockenheim. As we see Andrew Gilbert, you could just see the orange and grey car looked like it was running completely parallel to Nicola Rossi. Well, it wasn't, because it was in the pit lane. So that rather suggests that, unfortunately, for the likes of Andrew Gilbert, the race is over. We're on board here with Omar Jackson. And perhaps it was the Omar Jackson car that we saw come in. Maybe not. No, Omar Jackson is chasing down Angelo Fontana here. So this is for track position, and within class, this is going to be for... just checking down the timing screen here. It's a battle for P7 between Fontana and Jackson. The onboard shots from Omar Jackson, then welcome return to the Ferrari challenge. Oh, and a big mistake there by Angelo, which really rather nicely played into the hands of Omar Jackson. He didn't have to try too hard, I would suggest, Nico.
No, and we got a first row seat to that mistake. I'm sorry to say. And Omar Jackson said, "Yo, thank you very much. I will take that P7," and he's up the road. And that means Fontana has to come back and try to regain that P7 position. 14 minutes remaining on the clock, and
the only thing we were missing from the front row seat was a bucket of popcorn, really, wasn't it? Because we did have fantastic visibility of that. So well done, Omar. He's through. I'd say well done, Omar, so much as bad luck to Fontana then, who, here we can see it in replay. Door was wide, left open, indicate left. Omar goes through. You could see that Angelo tried to come back and then suddenly realized, hang on a minute, if I do come back here, I'm going to clatter into the side of Omar Jackson's car. In fairness, I think there might have been a little love tap between the two of them.
It looked like it, yes.
It certainly did from that angle.
Looked like it.
But presumably no harm done, because Omar is continuing to propel his 488 Challenge Evo around the track with no problems whatsoever. And Nicola Rossi has managed to get by Marco Pulcini. So Nicola Rossi passed Marco Pulcini. So this is for the final podium place in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Am as Nicola Rossi. And here we can see, well, again, it was not so much an overtake as taking advantage of a mistake from Marco Pulcini, Nico.
Yeah, didn't really look like Nicola Rossi provoked that directly, but certainly he put the pressure on, and as you can see, Marco Puccini is trying to return the favourite, put the pressure on Nicola Rossi, and
if I dare say, Nico, the pressure being mounted by Marco Puccini is somewhat more than the gentlemanly pressure from Nicola Rossi was just a couple of laps ago. So let's see how this plays out. For the moment, Nicola Rossi has got the final podium place in Trofeo Pirelli, but I certainly wouldn't want to bet on that, because Marco Puccini, he'll be livid, because of course when you make a mistake, of which I make many hundreds of thousands, you're always furious with yourself first, aren't you? Let alone the consequences of that mistake. And the consequence for Marco Puccini is he's potentially lost a podium. That will hurt.
Absolutely, and he will try everything to come back. Now, he also has to be conscious about the fact that he can't overdrive the car, overdrive the tires in his attempt to get back, because that would really ruin his race afterwards. But for the moment, as you say, Nicola Rossi has that P3, and it's Marco Puccini's task to get it back some way he can. 11.5 minutes remaining. Doriane Pin still leading, John Wotik P2, Luca Nomi P3, and Gibardi leading in the Amps. But this is the battle to watch.
It is, and you can see there that Nicola Rossi just loses the back end of the car a little bit. And of course, when a car is going sideways, Nico, you're scrubbing speed. You're not going in that forward trajectory that you need to. Therefore, it's always a little bit slower. And Nicola Rossi, in his quest to try and build as big a gap as he can now between himself and Marco Puccini, as Lucky Kira loses out to Alessandro Cozzi. So AC goes by Lucky Kira. Now, Lucky Kira is a very, very good racing driver. Ferrari Challenge UK champion previously, and here we can see Lucky Kira coming back at AC here. I have to say, Lucky Kira very rarely gets overtaken, and if he does get overtaken, he's certainly going to have a go and come back. It certainly looks that way, doesn't it, at the moment that Lucky Kira is chasing down Alessandro Cozzi, the AC car, number 25. Lucky Kira, the all-black car, under braking there, taking a completely different line to Alessandro Cozzi, who you can see, and again in that corner, Alessandro Cozzi deciding to be a bit wider, which just allows him to carry a little bit more speed through the exit of the turn. Lucky Kira, a completely different angle of attack, if I can be so bold. So differences between the two drivers here and their trajectory around the circuit here at Silverstone, which of course occupies some 5.89 kilometers with 18 turns. 9 of them are right-handers, 9 of them are left-handers, and there are none better than the mix of left and right-handers that is the Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel complex, because it's one of the favorite parts of the circuit for so many drivers. Doriane Pin crosses the timing line now, and I predict that the gap could be up to almost 8 seconds between her and John Wotik. Let's get the live gap now. Well, that wasn't a huge amount out, 7.5 seconds, as we now receive the first of the penalties for track limits. Nico, would you care to give us the judicial reading from our race control?
Indeed, and this man we just saw in center shot, it was Luca Nomi who gets the 5-second penalty for track limits. We said it very early on, he got the first final warning of the race. And that has now translated into a 5-second penalty. It doesn't really hurt him a lot in class, to be fair. It only diminishes any chance that he previously had on getting on terms with John Wotik, because in reality, that 2.9 seconds is now 7.9 seconds in arrears. So Luca Nomi, he will focus on trying to finish the race in the position he's in. Certainly no chance in attacking forward unless something dramatic happens.
Yes, and you can never say that's not going to happen, because it could. Here's Alessandro Cozzi then. Lucky Kira is still chasing him down, and Lucky Kira looks to have straight line speed. He gets the benefit of a little bit of draft off the back of the AC car. And so Lucky Kira now almost on the gearbox of Alessandro Cozzi, as car number 24 now picks up a time penalty, which ironically is the very car that we're looking at on this battle now. It's the number 24 car, Lucky Kira, picking up a 5-second time penalty for track limits. So Lucky, you may as well ease off. There's no point attacking Alessandro Cozzi, because you're going to have to not only overtake Alessandro Cozzi, you're going to have to gap him by 5 seconds before that overtake would count, Nico.
True. On the other hand, Lucky is a racing driver, and if he can be ahead on the track without huge amount of risk, I'm sure he will go for it. But yes, absolutely, that really diminishes his chances at a P4 or a potential podium. With Andrew Barty, Jack Brown, Nicola Rossi currently holding those podium positions, and indeed Marco Pulcini has dropped off quite a little bit from Nicola Rossi. It's now 3.5 seconds between the two of them.
Now this could become critical, Nico. Forgive me interrupting you so jolly rudely, for which I deserve a slap on the wrist. But car number 2, which is Andrew Barty, who's leading in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Amas. Lucky Kira, I think, has dived into the pit lane. Yes, he has. Wow, that's curious. It's probably to prepare himself ready for the UK race. Curious. Car number 2, Nico, leading the Trofeo Pirelli Am race, has been given a final warning for track limits at turn number 9. Now, we've got 6.5 minutes of the race remaining. I'm just saying here that the gap between Andrew Barty and Jack Brown is 2 seconds. Therefore, if Andrew Barty were to pick up a 5-second time penalty, if he exceeded track limits again, that would put him back down to P2. Jack would take the race win.
Indeed, yes.
Have I understood that correctly?
Yes, absolutely, and it's only 6 minutes remaining, so Angie, he's not really under huge pressure on the track, so he theoretically can ease off a little bit. Now, on the other hand, he's a racing driver, he doesn't want to ease off.
Ange, if you've not met Ange Barty, he's one of the loveliest guys in the paddock. The thought of Ange Barty easing off a bit is not a phrase that I would ever associate with him, if I'm honest with you.
No, but he's also a very experienced racing driver, and he knows when to attack, and I'm sure he also knows when to, you know, just take those 2% extra off. But it's certainly something that bears watching, as we see Omar Jackson.
He's under a bit of pressure here, Nico, isn't he?
Yeah. And then I think is the Angelo Fontana car right behind him. We saw that overtake done and that little bit of contact earlier. So that battle definitely not over and not settled yet.
5 minutes of the race remaining, and Lucky Kieran did come into the pit lane, Nico. Okay. So Doriane Penn leading by 8.182 seconds. John Wartig in turn has got a 3-second margin over Luca Nurmi. Potentially becomes even bigger than that because of the time penalty that he will pick up at the end of the race. So John Wartig is under no pressure whatsoever. After saying that, he's not able to even get within an overtake chance of Doriane Penn. Such is her dominance. We're watching the number 80 car now of Angelo Fontana. Chasing down Omar Jackson, and it is for P7 at the moment. The split shot that we're able to bring you, Omar Jackson live from inside the 488 Challenge Evo car that he is driving. And Doriane Penn, John Wartig, Luca Nurmi, the top 3 in Trofeo Pirelli, and for Trofeo Pirelli Am, Ange Barty, Jack Brown, Nicola Rossi. So, and Nicola Rossi has been able to build up a good margin over Marco Pulcini as well, Nico, because that was really tight, and it looked like Marco Pulcini was going to come back on Nicola Rossi, and Marco Pulcini will be furious because, you know, to be fair, he made a mistake. Nicola Rossi was able to take advantage of that, but I would have said they were pretty even in terms of race pace. But now, I suspect with Nicola Rossi being such a gentleman, who's not stressed the car and pressured the car too much, he's got the benefit of really good tyres come the end of the race, which is where we're at now with 3.5 minutes remaining. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli, our 30th anniversary year. We're on round 5 of our rounds this year for the 2022 calendar here at Silverstone. From here we head off to Mugello, and then of course the glittering Finale Mondiale event at Imola. Rumours that our calendar for next year is going to be released over this weekend, potentially. So we will see. Doriane Penn, John Wartig, Luca Nurmi. And for some reason, I can see from the timing screen that Jack Brown is dropping down the order, Nico.
Yeah, indeed. We haven't seen any visual confirmation on our live feed, and neither have you. So for the moment, it looks like Jack Brown is dropping down the order. Maybe he's stationary somewhere or having a problem. Certainly something in the second sector as
Omar Jackson runs wide, forgive me. That plays into the hands a little bit. Perhaps that was just a glitch with the transponder inside the car, because our timing screen is now saying Jack Brown is back to where he was, Nico. So I rather think that might have been a data transmission failure rather than Jack Brown. But I'll tell you what, Omar Jackson nearly paid for the slight error he made there. But for the moment, he holds on to the place that he has got at the moment, ahead of Angelo Fontana. And now you can see, I'm confused by this Jack Brown thing, Nico.
I believe that the transponder indeed is not working. It's really only picking up on the start-finish straight where the results are right. So if you're looking at live timing, that's probably why it's a little bit confusing. But indeed, Jack Brown is where he's supposed to be by his standards, which is P2 in the AMs. And we're being entertained by this battle. Omar Jackson and Fontana, it's for P6 in the AMs. And with 1 minute and 15 seconds, that means that Doriane Pin, once she crosses the finish line with 8.9 seconds of an advantage, she's just coming past our commentary window. That means she will start the final lap.
So Doriane Penn then on the final lap. It is the last lap of the race. As she crossed the timing line, she increased her margin of gap to John Vortig still further, and it's now 9 seconds that she has. And what a dominant performance once again from the Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx driver Doriane Penn then, with another really exemplary showing from a car and combination, Nico, that I think is fused together perfectly like fish and chips. Which is perhaps not the comparison to use, but you know what I'm saying. It's a perfect pairing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Great engineering by the team Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx, and Doriane Pin really does everything to the T and point of the eye, ideally, and almost untouchable, it seems, this season. And it seems like it's a matter of when she will claim the championship, not if.
And what's extraordinary, Nico, is that if it goes her way, which is, you'd be someone very brave to bet against it, wouldn't you? This will be the second year that a female racer, the Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx, has not only won the Trofeo Pirelli Championship, dominated it. Last year, Michelle Gatting, who I've known since she was, you know, racing in junior series, and now Doriane Penn. Who's it going to be next year? I need to pose that question to Iron Lynx.
Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe it's going to be Doriane again. Maybe they will find someone else. There is certainly no question that they are very good at scouting their drivers.
For sure.
And showing how diverse the Ferrari Challenge is.
And that's the thing. You come into the Ferrari Challenge, you do a season, maybe 2 seasons in the Ferrari Challenge, and you really get noticed. And you can really propel your path in motor racing. Doriane Penn heads towards the checkered flag and wins again. That is Doriane Penn's 5th win in a row. 8th overall, 7th overall. Absolutely extraordinary result from Doriane Penn. John Vortig takes P2, Luca Nurmi P3. Onjabadi did not catch the wrath of the race director and takes the win in Trofeo Pirelli Am. And we're going to see Nicolo Rossi on the podium because Jack Brown has crossed the line. The transponder has not picked that up, but Jack Brown has crossed the line to take P2. Nicolo Rossi does take P3. And then it will be Marco Pulcini and Alessandro Cozzi and Omar Jackson and Angelo Fontana and Arno Dalmayer, Lucky Kera and Andrew Gilbert, of course. Those the cars that regrettably we lost during the course of that race. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli, Silverstone, race 1 done. And it goes the way of this Scuderia Nicky Iron Lynx driver Doriane Penn. Hugely dominant once again. And despite being really challenged by John Vortig right at the start of the race, you can't help but feel, Nico, that if you can't make it stick at the start of the race, you've had it. You're not going to get another chance.
That's certainly how Doriane Pin has been performing, and even when she was overtaken on occasions like in Hungary, where Luconomi made it past, it really didn't take her long to retort. So she is just hugely dominant, and so is this man, Ange Bardi. I mean,
it's his 8th win.
Of 9.
The last win are 3 in a row, but his 8th win. So Doriane Pin then, this is our virtual podium. Doriane Pin on the top step, John Mortique P2, and Luconomi is P3. Well done to Ange Bardi as well, with what a record. So Ange Bardi P1 and Jack Brown P2, and then Nicola Rossi P3 for the Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers in this, our 30th anniversary season. Whew. So, in terms of the classification, there is confirmation for Trofeo Pirelli with Doriane Pin, John Mortique and Luconomi. We will bring you the confirmed classification as well for Trofeo Pirelli AM in just a moment. As if by magic, there it is. Ange Bardi from Jack Brown, Nicola Rossi. Then it was Marco Pulcini, Alessandra Cozzi, Omar Jackson, Angelo Fontana, Arno Dahlmeier, Lucky Kira, and Andrew Gilbert, then perhaps not achieving what they had hoped during the course of that race. So, the celebrations will be loud and proud, I suspect, for Doriane Pin and also for Ange Bardi, Nico.
No question about it, yeah. I mean, you would expect, they've won so many times, you'd expect, oh, it's routine. No, it's still very, very special for both of them and their teams, and they really know that it is not normal, and that it is something to be celebrated and can be taken away from you in an instant.
Oh,
so
indeed.
There you can see Doriane Pin, there is no routine about her celebration. She's really, really happy, and wait until you see Ange Bardi. I get the feeling that he will be even more chuffed to bits. John Mortique did what he could, P2. I think that is realistically the best that he could expect from the race, given the dominance from Doriane Pin. And we will have a look at some of the nice impressions from the pit lane and the paddock.
So we were enjoying our pit show, and now we're enjoying Ange Bardi, then celebrating once again. He's a great driver, he's a great character as well, and I have to say, he is always entertaining. Let's take a look at the highlights of that race. So there were the highlights from Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. Here are the race statistics then. Fastest laps, quelle surprise. Doriane Penn and Ange Bardi. Best progress, John Mortique moving up 1 place. Alessandro Cozzi moving up 3 places. Top speeds through the speed trap. Luca Nurmi 261.5 kilometers per hour. Ange Bardi then 259. The top speed, and total laps 15. Follow us on @Ferrari Races, please. We would love you to be part of the social media family that exists for Ferrari Races. We would very much love to see you as part of that. So Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli races done and dusted, as well as the races, of course, for Copa Shell. And we are going up to the podium next. One for Trofeo Pirelli, one for Trofeo Pirelli. So Michele Mambelli will be bringing us the celebrations on the podium and the presentations as well. So celebrations and presentations together, of course. So first will be Trofeo Pirelli, I would think, where we will see Doriane Penn on the top step of the podium.
Driver on the podium. Third on the podium, Luca Nurmi.
Here comes Luca Nurmi then to take P3. And there is Luca Nurmi taking P2, John Mortique. And of course, on the top step of the podium, it's going to be Doriane Penn. And
Doriane Penn.
I suspect it'll be top Competizione GT driver.
National anthem. Our claps for this.
So Michele Mambelli then overseeing the podium presentation then. And I was saying, I suspect it'll be the Competizione GT driver fresh in from Fuji, where he was victorious making the trophy presentations. And for once I get something right. Sure enough, it is James Collado. He's made the P3 trophy presentation to Luca Nurmi. Here comes John Mortique to get P2. And Doriane Penn, whose mantelpiece is positively busting at the seams with so many P1 trophies upon it. Doriane takes yet another one. Well done, Doriane. All 3 drivers will get together on the top step of the podium then for the assembled media of the world to take photographs of our top 3. And of course, Pirelli trophy to be presented also, and is indeed presented now. The drivers get together. And as Michele Mambelli asks you to rise your trophies, he of course means lift your trophies. And here, super slow-mos of the top 3 and the cars that push their drivers into their podium places. For Formula Racing then, it's Luca Nurmi. D2P have engineered the car that has seen another 2nd place for John Mortique. He took the fight through the first a few turns to Doriane Penn, but was not able to make it stick. Because Doriane Penn and Scuderia Nicky Iron Links, as I've said previously, it's a combination that works so well together. And she dominated that race with a finish some 9.5 seconds to the good. Once again, another race win. Up next, we will be seeing the Trofeo Pirelli AM podium, where just as dominant is Ange Bardi, who will be at the top step of the podium. Nicola Rossi
Second driver on the podium
is back on the podium again, Nico. P3, here comes Jack Brown on his return to the Ferrari Challenge. He takes P2.
And the winner from France,
and Ange Bardi. Here he comes then.
National anthem.
National anthem.
Our claps for this winner podium and
Angebadi, who styled his hair especially for this
James
weekend.
Calado, official driver.
His
Ferrari
Competizione GT driver, James
Nicola
Calado.
Rossi.
Ange will give me a slap for that. Nicola Rossi receives his trophy from James Calado. And Jack Brown receives his trophy from James, who of course has been on the top step of the podium here himself on many occasions at Silverstone in his fine racing career. And Angebadi then receives his trophy as well.
Lucio Vergani for Pirelli Competizioni.
Lucia here to make the Pirelli presentation. Indeed, he does that to Angebadi.
And now, guys,
drivers all together on the top step of the podium, ready for their celebration photograph. Here are the standings then in Trofeo Pirelli, the Drivers' Championship points. Doriane Penn, what a command she has. 34 points ahead of John Borti, P2, and Luca Nurmi, P3. Adrian Sutil is P4 in the Drivers' Championship points. Angebadi leading by 67 points over Marco Pulcini and Nicolo Rossi. Please make sure you join us for race 2 in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. That will be here tomorrow from Nico and from myself. For now, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.